guys, and welcome to my 8-week pregnancy vlog. I am so happy to be 8 weeks. It feels like such a huge milestone always reaching 8 weeks because baby becomes fetus and no longer embryo. I really apologize if I seem really out of breath in this video. I just can't seem to catch my breath these days. I'm also a little bit under the weather. I've got a bit of a sore throat, like more of a scratchy throat than anything. I was at a birthday party on Saturday, my husband's dad's 60th, and I was starting to feel a little bit sick then because the girls were actually home all last week, almost all of last week. And seriously, I can't talk without feeling like I'm losing my breath. In case you're wondering why that is, it's because it's obviously the baby's not very big yet. It's not like it's up in my lungs, but your heart rate increases quite a bit when you're pregnant, and like you can really feel it like pounding because your blood volume has doubled. And that's why, like, just going up the stairs, I seriously feel like I just ran a marathon, and it's just a normal pregnancy symptom. It doesn't mean like anything's wrong, it's just how it always is. So sorry if I keep trying to catch my breath. I don't think I'm gonna be able to keep my bra from showing. I have started wearing bras, as you guys can see. So I tried to upload, I did film weeks 5, 6, and I did not film 7, but I'm having a hard time uploading 5 and 6. So I'm just gonna have to recap everything from the past almost month in this video, it looks like, because me and hubby both tried to render that video and it's really long, but we tried our best. So yeah. Oh well, sorry guys. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start off. It was around when it was in my 5th week that I decided to go get an ultrasound. And I feel like the reason I did that was because I was starting to get like so much round ligament pain, and I was getting it more concentrated on one side than the other. And I started having this weird thing one day. It was the day that I decided to get the ultrasound. I started feeling like I could go to the toilet because, like, as a vegan, we don't really have a problem with constipation, and this is the first pregnancy that I have not been constipated, like at all. Like, I've had completely normal bowels. Like, the only thing was one day, it's like maybe I just went too much, I don't know, but like I started getting this really intense, painful pressure when I would bear down to poop. Sorry if this is TMI, but I just thought it was weird because I was having like more concentrated pain on one side of my body. Then I had that, and I like kind of Googled the symptoms, and like the thing that came up was ectopic. So I was like, oh my God. So I was like, maybe it's a good idea just to go check and see that baby's in the right place because ectopic is pretty serious. So I decided to go and get the early ultrasound, which I will make a video about how I feel about ultrasound in general. But my general consensus is this. I think getting a few is good, and I think that prenatal ultrasound has its place in diagnosis. And I'm a really big fan of the anatomy scan, but I'm not a fan of like 3D, 4Ds. I'm a fan, if you think there's something wrong, going to get it checked out, because the stress of worrying is going to cause, I think, more issues than something that's been used for a very long period of time. And I have got ultrasounds with both my girls. They're both fine. And I just kind of generally think, like, if it's going to give you peace of mind and if you're worried about something, go get a short one. You know what I mean? So I did decide to go at 5 weeks, and I think I was one day, and they warned me, they're like, well, we may not see anything, so don't freak out if we don't see anything. But I knew that because I had an early ultrasound with Olivia, and all we saw was the amniotic sac. We didn't even see the yolk sac or anything. But at 5 weeks and one day, I had my first ultrasound. And as you can see, we did see the amniotic sac as well as the yolk sac. It looks like at that point it was only one, but she said you won't know if it's more than one until you're a bit further along, especially because if it's identical twins, they could be in there, we just can't see them yet. So we found the babies in the right place, and she said, like, yeah, you're just gonna have like more strong and intense like pulling and achy sensations because it's your third. And she was really, really nice, and I was feeling really, really good about the pregnancy. And she even gave me a compliment about the yolk sac. She said, that's a really nice thick yolk sac. A couple weeks later, I decided to go for my first gynecologist appointment because I really wanted to get my blood work done, and everything came back fine with my blood work. So she's like, would you like to see if the pregnancy is going well? And honestly, I really did. So this was at 7 weeks in a few days, and I was just getting kind of tired of like keeping it a secret. And I felt like, you know, if I see a heartbeat, probably everything's gonna go okay. So I would really just like to, you know, announce that I can't take it anymore. And she's like, yeah, we'll just poke in real quick. Yeah, so I did get my ultrasound at 7 weeks and 1 day, and baby was measuring at 7 weeks and 3 days. One baby, it looks like, guys. So I'm really like, whew, because my pregnancy symptoms were really strong and really different this time. I kind of thought, is it gonna be twins? You know what I mean? But no, it's just one baby. And twins does run on both sides of me and hubby's family, so it was like nice to clear up that it's just one. And I don't know what I would do if I would be pregnant with twins. I feel like if I would have got pregnant with twins like the first time, because you know, you're just so naive and everything's so new the first time around, you don't know how hard it is just to take care of one. Like, I feel like having twins the first time is like, ooh, exciting. But like when you're the third time pregnant and you already have 2 kids, like, I don't think I can go from 2 to 4. Hubby kind of liked it because he's like, oh, well then I don't have to convince you about having a 4th if it's twins and stuff, because he really wants 4. I don't know. I'm really trying to just take this pregnancy in because I don't know if it's going to be my last pregnancy. Something kind of tells me it's not going to, but I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just, we're just going to see how it goes. We're going to see how the temperament of this baby is. We're going to see how the family dynamic is when we are a family of 5, and go from there. But hubby's really got his heart set on 4. So yeah, but everything's going really well, guys. You know, week 5 and 6 was probably the hardest because I had my 2 births that basically went right on top of each other, and it was really hard to talk about it. Like, I think I mostly talked about it on Snapchat and very briefly in the vlogs. It was super hard because I was feeling really worn down, and I kind of thought like, oh gosh, it's so embarrassing. Like, people probably think that I'm like such a pathetic doula. You know what I mean? Like, this doula can't handle her job. But actually it was because I was pregnant that I was so out of it. It's like when you're awake for such a long period of time, even not pregnant, it's super hard. But my second birth that I went to was 48 hours. It was just hard. It's just been really hard being pregnant and being a doula in the first trimester. I wouldn't really recommend it, but it's hard because, you know, when you start a trying to conceive journey, you don't know how it's gonna go. And also as a doula, you live very in the moment. Like, you just take on whoever you can whenever they're available, so it was really hard to plan it. Luckily, I am not on call for another 2 weeks still, so I'm just taking it all in. I just had a really long week of having to recover from that birth, and also just from being newly pregnant and just being super tired. And honestly, my nausea was the worst in the earlier parts. I'm 8 weeks now, and I looked back at my pregnancy vlogs with Olivia and Leia. Sorry, losing my breath again. And I was actually sickest in this week. As of right now, I'm feeling really good. And something though I've noticed about this pregnancy is I will have kind of a day where everything's fine, and then the next day will be like so bad. I think today's like a bit of a break day. The boobs are still really swollen, which I actually kind of like, and I have started wearing bras again because they're just starting to get really big, and the nipples are getting really big. So I was just like, I probably need to wear something, you know what I mean? Especially if I'm going to be wearing a spaghetti strap or just anything see-through. And also I've just kind of got used to the soreness now. Like, it sucks. It doesn't feel nice, but it's like, I'm used to it now, and they look great in a bra, actually, I have to say. I've also started getting, maybe this is where it gets a little bit gross for some people, but I have like crusty yellow stuff that's coming out of my nipples. It's basically just colostrum that is leaking, and it's like crusty because it dries up, so I kind of have to like clean my nipples once in a while. And this did not happen until, no, it didn't happen at all with Olivia until, well, obviously until I started breastfeeding, and then it wasn't crusty, it was just like fresh. But with Leia, I started having it towards the end, so I'm pretty surprised like how much the girls are ramping up. Like, I'm feeling like this breastfeeding journey is gonna go great because they are doing such a good job preparing themselves. I have to say the girls were a little bit slow moving in my first pregnancy. I don't really know why. I think everybody's just a little bit different, and I've just, I don't know, maybe I wasn't finished developing. It's hard to say, everybody's so different. But yeah, we managed. I managed to breastfeed Olivia for 1.5 years. She never had formula. We had a lot of challenges and problems. Leia was like the chubbiest, like squishiest little baby who loved to eat, and we had a lot of milk. So I'm feeling like this time it's gonna go really, really well, as long as the baby's got a good latch and isn't too difficult like the Olive. But if the baby is, at least I know how to handle it this time. So anyways, that's enough talk about boobs. What else is going on? Yeah, I'm actually feeling really energetic today. I feel like the whole mood will change probably next week, just because this is usually my hardest week. But I've been able to eat the most this pregnancy. I've ate tons. Like, I feel like I've eaten more than I normally do still. Like, even so, like, the only time I actually feel good is when I'm eating. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like shit before I eat. I feel like shit after I eat. But when I'm eating, I'm a happy camper. So if I can just eat all day, that'd be great. Like, this baby really likes food. With my girls, as you guys know, I basically kind of went on like a starvation thing because I just couldn't eat anything. Like, everything just grossed me out. Everything made me super sick. I never puked in either of my pregnancies, but I just couldn't eat. Like, it just literally, like, the smells and the taste and the texture of everything completely grossed me out. And I don't know if it's because I'm a vegan this time or what it is. Like, maybe my body just really neglected foods I was trying to feed myself in the past, which was a lot of dairy and a lot of eggs and stuff like that was what I wanted to eat because that was what I was used to eating. But this time around, just like in the morning, I started off with like a big smoothie, like with lots of bananas, and that really helps. I have to be careful about like acidic things, even though I crave acidic things like lemons and oranges. I can't have it first thing in the morning or it upsets my tummy. So typically I have gone back onto, oh yeah, that's another thing. Gosh, this is gonna be such a long video, but I have to recap all these things. So I went off of chocolate. Well, this is the same with Leia, actually. I didn't like chocolate in my pregnancy with Leia, and I didn't really like it in this pregnancy, but I started having chocolate again the past few days, a very little bit in my banana smoothies, and I found that's been the easiest on my stomach. And I can't just have a straight up banana ice cream. I have to have like something else in it. So just like a tiny bit of chocolate powder in there, like cacao powder, really makes it very nice. And like the bananas are really good on my stomach in the morning. I've been eating a lot more fat. I've been craving a lot more fats than I usually do, and I think it's normal and it's healthy because obviously I'm growing a person, I'm just growing a brain, so I gotta make sure to up my fat intake. I'm also eating a lot of things with omegas like hemp seeds, as well as taking an omega-3 supplement now, which is from algae. So yeah, and I haven't really been enjoying some of my normal foods. I've been eating a lot of potatoes, which is actually another thing that I craved in Leia's pregnancy. And anything else? A lot of food. food. I think that's about all I have to update on. I've already got the round ligament pain. We already talked about that. When I get up, it's very, very sharp. I am going to be seeing a chiropractor about making sure everything is okay because I haven't taken a spinning babies course, however I love to, and I have watched a couple of the videos on Vimeo of spinning babies and the concept of making sure that your ligaments are not too tight, and also just doing certain exercises to make sure baby is in optimal positioning. Like, it doesn't just mean head down, you know what I mean? Head down is not the only optimal position for the baby. If you have tight ligaments, you may have a baby that's like leaning more towards one side, which I feel like Leia kind of was, and I feel like that's why I didn't dilate very efficiently with her, because my midwife actually had to go in and manually kind of adjust my cervix and her head. And you know, I'm not a midwife or an expert or anything on these things, but it's something I want to look into. And I also just want to get like my tailbone. You know, after having had 2 kids, your body's changed, and I think seeing a chiropractor and just doing a lot of exercises and sitting on my exercise ball, which I've already started doing, is going to really work out in my benefit to have an easier childbirth. And I don't think it's ever too early to start, really. I'm gonna go ahead and do the belly shot now. And I think that's all I have to say. I really, really think so. I'm not positive, but that's all I can think of for now. So I'm just all casual today, wearing my leggings. There's the side with clothes. I have eaten a little bit of breakfast. I had my banana smoothie I was talking about. Blech, I feel sick. Ugh, like throat sick. So, belly. From the side. It's still pretty bloated, but it's actually not too bad today, so that's what we got going for. 8 weeks. I do feel like it feels different when I'm lying down. I mean, why am I out of breath from just standing up? It's ridiculous. Alright you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you guys for week 9. We are officially caught up. Yay!